Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day, where I'm going to be talking about our brand new Royalties Wallet feature and our progress in advancing the idea of the self-funding book. Um, as usual, we're going to not really start the video proper until the 2-minute mark. That just gives people some time to jump in if they see this going live. We always do record these tips, or we typically record these tip of the day videos as live streams, just because I like to do it basically. But we, of course, record them for posterity so that they'll help. They're basically like video help center articles. You can see them, or video tutorials. You can see them that way, that live forever on our YouTube channel at Leanpub. Please like and subscribe if you like learning about self-publishing and lean publishing and stuff like that. We talk about book marketing, we talk about book creation, we talk about writing, and we talk about all kinds of other things on these videos. And we also on our YouTube channel have really amazing book launch videos, which I absolutely love doing because I get to talk to authors from all around the world writing about all kinds of different things. And we also have podcast videos there as well. So sort of full length there, anywhere from typically, 25 minutes to some are 2 hours, I think, that we've done in the past. Yeah. So, and you'll also find sort of other like explainer videos and a lot of clips if you like watching clips and shorts and stuff like that as well. As usual, if you would like to me to talk about anything in particular or specific in a future video, please email us at hello@leanpub.com or find us on social media. We're pretty easy to contact, and hopefully we'll notice if you mention us or something like that. And yeah, so you can suggest, and you can, but to be clear, as I always like to say, you can also ask me to talk about something that I've talked about before, talk about it in a different way, just repeat myself maybe, but maybe do a better demo or something like that. So please ask about me to do things. Here we're approaching the 2-minute mark. So as usual, do a little countdown. 3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 2-minute mark of today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day video. Today, I'm going to be talking about our brand new Royalties Wallet feature, which is amazing, and it's been a long time coming. And I'm going to talk more broadly about the idea of the self-funding book that we've bandied about at Leanpub for a long time. But it's been really hard to kind of get at least for me, I'm going to say it's been hard for me. I failed, I think, to get the message across and out there about this really amazing idea. And this Leanpub, the Royalties Wallet, is one way, I personally hope will help us get the message out there, because it's a very powerful thing in the self-publishing world that we're hopefully adding to it. So as usual, there is a blog post that accompanies this Lean Publishing Tip of the Day video. You'll find the video, as I said, on our YouTube channel. You'll find it at the top of this blog post when it's published properly, so you can watch it there. You'll also find it on social media, etc. But the tip of the day, the blogs posts live on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. One of the reasons they're there is because some people prefer reading to watching videos and stuff like that. You can scroll through at your leisure, but also, that means that there can be helpful links and stuff like that, and sort of more casual explanations, or not more casual, but sort of, calmer maybe explanations than me, and usually sort of talking too fast and stuff like that. So go to our blog at leanpub.com/blog. If you don't find the article right away, click on the little magnifying glass at the top right and search for the keywords, and you'll find it. So the first thing I want to talk about is funding books. Books, there are various costs to writing books. And the first, of course, costs that come to mind are going to be your personal time and effort. These are costs. They might be, writing a book might hopefully be most of the time something you really enjoy doing, but it's still helpful to think of it as, taking up time that you could have been spending doing other things, including, with your family and stuff like that. So writing is a very important activity. It takes a lot of effort and time, and those can be considered costs. So no matter what, even if you don't end up spending any money on your book, you're spending something on it. So all books come with that cost, and there's really no way to diminish those. And when it comes to the writing, you probably don't want to diminish that cost too much, because you're hopefully enjoying the time that you're doing it. What you're going to want to do, obviously, is try and decrease the amount of time you spend doing things you shouldn't be doing as an author, like maybe too much formatting, or maybe making book covers when you should get an expert to do that, stuff like that. Speaking of funding books, you might end up needing money, spending money to fund a book cover as well, and stuff like that. If you're in the old-fashioned way, and a lot of people often, they in the old days for really big projects, and currently as well, of course, they take time off their work to work on really big, serious book projects, including especially those that take a lot of research and stuff like that. And in the end, if you're going to be publishing your book in print, that's like nowadays with print on demand and stuff like that, the cost is very different. But in the olden days, if a publishing company was going to be publishing a book, they had to pay for a print run, and then they had to distribute all those books, across the continent or what have you. And so there was a lot of funding a book project cost a lot of more people, all the work going into that non-writing stuff. And it took a lot of work just transporting things. It took a lot of money. So books required a budget, and a money budget, a financial budget. And so eventually, self-publishing became a real thing. This was kind of basically with the invention of Kindle and the ebook and stuff like that. Self-publishing, of course, had existed before. I've talked about this at length in other ways, but the kind of what we think of, what someone new to it now would see when they see self-publishing, that basically started about 18 years ago or so. So it's actually been around for a while. But one of the things that people face when they're self-publishing, basically because there is this pre-existing model of getting an advance, right, which is one of the ways that you as an author would be funded by a publishing company in exchange for giving them rights and the vast majority of the money that your book's ever going to make. They would give you some money up in advance. And I do this because it wouldn't always be a lot. And when they did give you money, it was basically because they thought they were going to make a lot of money off of you. So they weren't doing it, out of the goodness of their hearts typically. Other ways to get funding for books are obviously grants. You can get grants for various, government agencies. You can get them probably from think tanks and stuff like that as well, if you're connected and established enough and stuff like that. Now, one thing that eventually was developed over time was the concept of, a Kickstarter. That's a brand name, but everyone knows what I mean by that, which is you haven't produced anything yet, but you've maybe got a plan and an idea, and you present people with your plan and their idea, and they can pay you before you do the work. The promise, of course, is that you're going to finish and you're going to give them what they paid for in the end. But that's a way of pre-funding a book, but not just pre-funding, of like funding a book project. So at Leanpub, we've long had the idea of a self-funding book project. This is a project where you don't need to go and get money, a grant from anybody. You don't need to get an advance from a company in exchange for future revenue. You can self-fund your book. And of course, that sounds funny. How would you possibly do that? And one way you do it is through the lean publishing process. With lean publishing, you can publish your book for the first time when you've finished just the first chapter, and you can start selling it. Anybody who buys your book, and of course, you're going to be adding chapters until it's done to your book. Every time you add a chapter, it's called publishing a new version of your book. And anyone who's bought it in the past gets all your updates for free. So people can buy your book when it's unfinished, when you're still working on it. And that way you can hopefully get some funding and, of course, motivation while you're writing your book. And so that way you can get funding, and maybe, if you start making enough money off your book, 3 chapters in, 4 chapters in, maybe you actually can take some time off work and stuff like that. You've essentially created yourself your own advance, but without giving anything away, without giving away any rights, without giving away any future revenue. By publishing serially or in progress like that, you can self-fund your book. You own everything. It's all yours. But one of the things that you're going to want to do eventually, maybe early on, maybe eventually, is you're probably going to want to spend money to hopefully increase your audience, grow your audience, and do book marketing, basically. Typically, the way self-published authors have done that is the way companies do it. You buy Google ads, you buy Facebook ads, you buy ads and stuff like that. But that's going to cost money. Where does that money come from? Some other part of your budget, probably, stuff like that, right? So maybe you have some savings, something like that. Hopefully you'll be careful and not bet too much at the beginning until you learn how these things work. But the money's going to have to come from somewhere. On Leanpub, that money could come from you receiving your royalty payments from your sales, and you could go spend them on advertisements and stuff like that. But one thing that that's sort of deep in Leanpub's DNA is connecting things. And so, for example, what we've done is we've connected the writing of a book and the selling of a book directly. It's the same platform. It's the same tool. You write your book in Leanpub, you sell your book in Leanpub. You write your book in your browser, you're selling it in a web browser. You can write your book on your phone, you're selling it in the App Store. And so these things are combined. And in a very deep way, right? Because it's kind of forced out of us, because if you want to update your book, you've got to be able to do that easily. You've got to be able to do that with a click of a button. What we also want to do is combine making money from your book and then making more money from your book by buying advertising, things like that, but also something that I'm currently calling expansion. We'll come up with another term later, and I'll show you what I mean in just a bit. But, now so you've actually been able to buy advertisements and services on Leanpub with your unpaid royalties for a long time, but it was all spread around in all kinds of different places, and it was hard to find, and you really had to be like a PhD in Leanpub to kind of know that these things existed, understand what you were looking at, all that kind of stuff. So, I'm really excited to announce that now we've created something called the Royalties Wallet. If you go to the royalties section of your, account and I'll show you how to do this in just a minute. You can find a new page there called the Royalties Wallet page. It's right here at, I've got the link. I'm showing it right here, leanpub.com/author/royalties/wallet. Really easy to find. And there you'll see how many spendable royalties you have right on top, prominently displayed. And if you scroll down on that page, you'll actually see the things that are available to you. When it comes to looks like we've got a little bug, but you can see you can buy a 1 week shelf spot. You can buy a 1 month shelf spot. These are advertising spots on our homepage. You also get sponsored spots in our popular weekly and monthly sale email newsletters. So you can actually use your royalties to do advertising that way. We've gotten great feedback from some authors. There's no guarantee, but these are proven ways, to potentially increase your book sales. Spend that much and make more from your expenditure. That's how advertising works if it's successful. The great thing about this, of course, being that if it works, then you can buy more ads, and because it's a profit center if it works. But you'll see that there's also TranslateAI and CourseAI. You can, if you've made $49 in available royalties from your book, you can spend it and translate it into a new language. The amazing thing about that is that using our TranslateAI service, the amazing thing about that is now you've got two books. This is what I mean by expansion. The second one funded from the first one, and the second one's out there making money too. If you have a $25 suggested price, you only need to sell 3 copies of your book to make $60, pay such a high royalty rate. And then you sell 3 copies of your translation at that price. You've already made back your money. And you know what? You've got enough money for another translation. Now you've got 3 books out there making money, doing sale, reaching an audience, making you money, and then giving you the ability to buy and expand and expand and expand. And then you can eventually maybe even get our course. If you've written a nonfiction book, you can get our CourseAI service, turn your book into a course. Typically, you'll sell a book as an online course for about 10 times the book's normal value, 5 to 10 times, because it's for corporate buyers, people with corporate budgets who need to get their professional development hours in, and stuff like that. So that's really exciting. Very cool thing, though. If you go to your royalties wallet page, you can actually use your unpaid royalties to buy other Leanpub books. This is very cool. You actually, again, I said you've been able to do this kind of technically for a long time on Leanpub. Now you can do it right from your royalties wallet. If you don't see a book that you want there, just go to any book on Leanpub, add it to your cart, and then go to your cart, and you'll see this checkout with royalties option, so you can pay with royalties there. There's one thing. Oh, I need to refresh this. I updated this. One little boring note is, unfortunately, well, we do live in a world where some people have sales taxes applied to their purchases because of the country that they live in. So we may have to ask you for your mailing address. We're not going to be mailing anything to you if you do this. It's just to make sure we can allocate the right sales taxes and pay your government if we have to. You can find this royalties wallet in your account. Just go to the avatar at the top right of any Leanpub page, click on author, go to royalties, and then click the menu and go to royalties wallet, and boom, you're there. Yeah, it's really that easy. This is a very cool thing, and I'm really excited to announce it to everybody. It's just been a long time coming. Hopefully we'll improve this feature and stuff like that in the future. But the idea of being able to, if you can make $50 in royalties on your book and translate it into another book. Now you've got 2 books funded by the first one, no risk to you, in a sense, no cost to you, because you didn't have to pay any money. The book from your own wallet, it came from the wallet that your book sales created on its own. I think this is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Leanpub authors do this. And of course, one of the great things too with it, since you can buy books with unpaid royalties, is, as I said in the blog post, you can use your writing habit to feed your reading habit. And that's really great way of improving and sort of being a part of the Leanpub author community. So that was my very fast talking video about our very exciting new royalties wallet feature. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, please reach out. We're easy to find. Thanks.